They wanted to put this project out. Universal told Def Jam, well, Lil Wayne still didn't give us his album yet. So if y'all want to put this project out, we're taking 95%. And Def Jam, y'all can take 5%. And they say, Cam, we love you and all that, but we're not doing that. We can't do it. I said, but they really want to come out. He said, Cam, you listen, we're going to get 2.5%, and Universal gets 95%. But Steve Garley and Def Jam at the particular time didn't okay it. But I get the blame. Yo, Cam is hating. Cam don't want Juelz project to come out. Y'all up, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever.
Have you ever wondered why, despite the intense hype, a Lil Wayne and Juelz Santana record never made it to the shelves? Cameron simply made things clear and revealed the real reason why the idea was shelved and millions of dollars were never even discussed. Cameron described the backstory that no one talked about on Talk with Flea. Ego rivalry did not prevent the album from being released. The label, Universal, and the way the percentages were calculated were the key factors. Lil Wayne hadn't even released his own record at the time. The label stated that if we release this collaborative project now, Universal will receive 95% of the proceeds, with the artist receiving only 2%. That's business. Cameron had to make the difficult decision because it was financially advantageous for all parties. I'm going to start playing this clip for you, but before I do, please like, subscribe, and share your comments in the comment box below. Now let's get started.
Ridiculous rumor. I don't know, man. It's a lot of them. Let me think. I'm trying to think of the most ridiculous. Okay, I'll give you one. The most ridiculous rumor. And I don't know if it's the most ridiculous. I'm just thinking of a ridiculous rumor. So, you know, niggas like, yo, Juelz and Lil Wayne was supposed to do an album one time. And niggas like, Kim don't want the Lil Wayne and Juelz project to come out. Yo, I don't know why he's stopping it, this, that, and third. And look, I ain't gonna front, this kind of like when we all wasn't on the same page. So what happened is when niggas was doing the album, and I'm one of them niggas, me and you used to come to me with mad shit niggas talk about me, and I used to ignore it. Then I got to the point like, you cool enough for me to explain shit to you, because I don't like explaining myself to niggas. Believe what you want to believe. I don't give a fuck. And so when I started, me and you got really cool, and I was clearing shit up with you, and then had called niggas, they did, like Tito, for instance, you be like, oh, get the fuck out of here this whole time, etc. But it was a time Juelz was supposed to put out a project with Lil Wayne, and it didn't happen. And they was like, Cam don't want the project to come out. Cam don't want the project to come out. And that's not what happened. What happened was Lil Wayne, and mind you, Lil Wayne wasn't the superstar. He was a star, but remember, Lil Wayne emerged into a superstar after the Carter 1 and Carter 2 and 3 and A Million, all that shit. So he didn't put out his first album yet, talking about Lil Wayne. So Juelz and Lil Wayne had a project. They did. Def Jam is under Universal, which Lil Wayne was signed to. So when they wanted to put this project out, Universal told Def Jam, well, Lil Wayne still didn't give us his album yet. So if y'all want to put this project out, we're taking 95%. And Def Jam, y'all can take 5%. And so Steve Garley, shout out to Steve Garley, he's now the lawyer, the head lawyer for Universal. At the time, he was the lawyer for Def Jam. And we still good to this day. Now go find Steve Garley and ask him that. Niggas don't know who Steve Garley is. Niggas just gonna blame Ken. We had a joint venture deal with Def Jam. So if that project came out, that means that Def Jam would get 2%, 2.5% of the album, and me and Juelz would get 2.5% of the album. And they say, Cam, we love you and all that, but we're not doing that. We can't do it. I said, but they really want to come out. He said, Cam, you listen, we're gonna get 2.5%. And Universal gets 95%. And they was more on that tip because Lil Wayne didn't even hand in his project yet. So they like, how we gonna okay the Juelz and Wayne project if Lil Wayne didn't even hand in his project? Maybe we could revisit it after Lil Wayne's project comes out, but until then, no, we're taking 95% because I don't know how much they gave Lil Wayne. You know, at that time, you get an advance, some budget, and they probably was thinking, well, where's our money for what we gave Wayne? That part is all speculation. But Steve Garley and Def Jam at the particular time didn't okay it. But I get the blame. Yo, Kim is hating. Kim don't want Juelz project to come out. Y'all fucked up, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. Niggas don't really understand the back story on what's going on. And niggas probably still say that to this day. Pardon me?
I did. I thought you was foul for that.
Yeah,
okay.
I was foul because you thought I was foul. It's fine, son. It's
I thought you was foul for not letting the album come out. I'm like, yo, what's up, man? Like, what the fuck? Like, I did.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I could clear that up for you.
Speculation.
So, at the end of the day, that's what happened. And a lot of people still think that, yo, Kim ain't do that. Listen, I'm not, why would I want to stop making money? My whole thing was to make Juelz a star, make Juelz rich. However it played out towards the end, it played out towards the end. But, you know, Juelz said it, Kim gonna make me a star, he gonna make me $1 million. We both did what we said we was gonna do. So, that was why would I want to stop that? I would not want to stop that, but it didn't make financial sense. And sometimes, and I'm not talking about myself or Juelz or anybody, I'm just talking about in general. Sometimes people don't want to make sense. That's your favorite line, Sid, actually. When I'm making sense to you and you be like, I don't want to make sense right now.
He says that?
Yeah, he says it a lot.
Yeah.
Shut up, Z.
See, I get it now, because that ain't make no sense.
Yeah.
What you just said.
Yes. Yeah, I don't want to make sense. He just wants to feel the way he feels. But that's probably one of the biggest rumors, though. And if y'all don't, Google Steve Garley and call his office. I don't mean to put all this pressure on you, Steve, but hit that nigga up and ask him.
The crazy part about this story.
This story's absurd aspect is how many people overlook hip-hop's business side. Contrary to popular belief, Cameron did not prevent the Lil Wayne and Juelz Santana album from being released by Ego. In actuality, time, percentages, and labels have the power to make or break millions of dollars. And Kale took the wise choice to safeguard both the initiative and the participating artists. I applaud the vision and patience required for that. When you take a step back, you see that this isn't about people being dishonest or money being withheld. It's about knowing the game's rules and ensuring that everyone wins in the long run. Camel was not self-centered. He was considering the squad, Juelz, and Lil Wayne. That demonstrates leadership. It's uncommon to hear someone publicly dissect it like this, and not all artists possess such insight. This discussion on Talk with Flea, from my perspective, reveals a more profound aspect of the music industry. You can only go so far with talent. Even on a potentially successful album, you run the risk of losing out if you don't grasp negotiations, percentages, and timing. Cameron chose strategy over momentary delight after realizing the risk. Every creator, entrepreneur, and artist should take note of that lesson. The best course of action isn't always the one that garners the most attention. It is the action that maintains long-term prosperity and achievement. I really appreciate Cam's direct response to the rumors. He provided context rather than allowing conjecture to rule the story. People frequently discuss how agreements fall through, how albums are stopped, and how money is lost. Much of that is clarified in this exchange, which also demonstrates that the game is more than just music. It has to do with brand protection and business planning. Because of this, long-term success can still result from the behind-the-scenes technique, even in the absence of an album. In retrospect, it seems evident that Cameron was not halting the money, he was protecting it. And that kind of insight is invaluable in hip-hop. He ensured that the movements made sense, preserved the vision, and safeguarded the artist. Leadership is that. That is astute business. And that is why it's important to understand Cam's point of view. I have a question for you all. Would you have waited as Cam did, or would you have released the album anyhow if you were in his position? Do you believe that today's artists are paying enough attention to economics, or do they still give labels too much power? Please share your thoughts in the space provided for comments below. And additionally, please remember to subscribe and like. Tranquilly.